The 1975 World Team Tennis season was the second season of the top professional team tennis league. In the United States, the Pittsburgh Triangles defeated the San Francisco Golden Gators in the WTT Finals to win the league championship. Competition format. The 1975 World Team Tennis season included 10 teams split into two divisions, Eastern and Western. The league intended for each team to play a regular season schedule of 44 matches. However, WTT scheduled neutral site matches to cut down on travel and create events where fans could see multiple teams either with one admission or over the course of a few days. These special events were called WTT Spectaculars because of these and because of scheduling challenges created when the Houston EZ Riders suspended operations just days before the season started. The 10 teams in the league did not play an equal number of matches. 7 of them played 44 matches, while 3 played 46 matches. The top 3 teams in each division qualified for the playoffs. The second and third place teams met in division semi-final matches hosted by the second place teams. The winners of those matches met the first place team in the best of 3 division championship series. The division semi-final winners hosted the first match of the division championship series. The first place team hosted the second and third, if necessary, matches. The division champions met in the best of 3 World Team Tennis final with the lower seed hosting the first match and the higher seed hosting the second and third, if necessary, matches. Each match comprised one set each of men's singles, women's singles, men's doubles, women's doubles and mixed doubles. The order of play was women's doubles first, men's doubles third and mixed doubles fifth. The coach of the home team decided whether men's or women's singles would be played second or fourth. Games were decided by the first player a doubles team to reach 4 points with no add scoring. Each set ended when one team had won either 6 or 7 games and had an advantage over its opponent of at least 2 games. Sets that were tied 6-6 were decided by a tiebreaker. Set tiebreaker games were 9 total points with the first player a doubles team to reach 5. The winner. An advantage of only 1 point was needed to win a tiebreaker game. Matches could end when one team built an insurmountable lead. For example, if a team had a 24-17 lead after 4 sets, the 5th set, mixed doubles, would not be played. If a team had a 22-19 lead after 4 sets, the match could end if the leading team won 4 games in the 5th set, since it would be impossible for the trailing team to make up the 3-game deficit that existed when the set started. If the match was tied at the end of 5 sets, a super tiebreaker game was played between the mixed doubles teams using the same format as the set tiebreaker games. Teams sometimes agreed to play dead sets even if the outcome of the match had already been decided, or to play sets to completion when the outcome of the match was decided within that set. Franchise movement, expansion and contraction. On October 16, 1974, Toronto Buffalo Royals president John F. Bassett announced that the team had been sold to Herbert S. Hoffman and Phyllis Morse, who said that they would move it to Hartford, Connecticut. On October 25, 1974, the Chicago Aces ownership announced that the team was up for sale, and there were ongoing negotiations with several groups of investors, including one in Atlanta. The team acknowledged some player salaries were late in being paid and said that the statuses of player contracts would be settled after the team was sold. On November 18, 1974, Seymour Broden Marshall Greenspan sold the Detroit Loves to a new ownership group led by William H. Berriman and Dan Domont, who moved the team to Indianapolis and changed its name to the Indiana Loves. Burt McGlynn tried to sell the Minnesota Buckskins to local investors after the 1974 season ended. On November 6, 1974, McGlynn announced that the local interest in the Buckskins had dried up, and the team would either fold or be sold and moved. He mentioned that there was interest from investor groups in Indianapolis and Washington, D.C. The investor group from Indianapolis ended up buying the Loves, and the group from Washington decided not to buy the team this year. On November 26, 1974, WTT announced at its annual meeting that the Buckskins had become the first team in the league to fold. In late 1974, it was reported that owner Ray Chickolo had lost about $300,000 operating the Boston Lobsters. In early 1975, he was forced to declare bankruptcy. At the WTT owners' meeting on February 1, 1975, each team was required to post a $500,000 letter of credit. Teams that failed to do so: the Baltimore Banners, the Boston Lobsters, the Chicago Aces, the Florida Flamingos and the Hartford Royals, were contracted. A dispersal draft was conducted to distribute the players from those 5 teams among the remaining teams in the league. On February 6, 1975, Bud Fisher, Frank Goldberg and Ben Press sold the defending WTT champion Denver Rackets to a new ownership group that included Reggie Jackson and his agent Gary K. Walker, who moved the team to Phoenix, Arizona and changed its name to the Phoenix Rackets. A group of investors that included Bob Mades, Paul Slater, Herbert S. Hoffman, Robert K. Kraft and Harold Bain emerged as a potential owner for the franchise in Boston. However, the Lobsters had already been contracted by WTT. The group purchased the Philadelphia Freedoms on March 27, and moved the team to Boston. In order to claim the name of the original Lobsters, the new ownership group would be required to settle some of the debts of the former team this year. The new owners decided to do this and renamed the Freedoms the Boston Lobsters. Shortly before the start of the 1975 season, WTT granted an expansion franchise to Frank Mariani to play in San Diego. Mariani named the team the San Diego Friars. While several of the original 16 WTT franchises from 1974 had financial difficulties, resulting in 6 of them not returning and 4 of them moving. Before the 1975 season, the Houston EZ Riders had made plans to go forward in Houston. The team was to play its 1975 home matches in the brand new Astro Arena. However, just before the season started, on May 2, 1975, team president and vice president EZ and Betty Jones announced that the EZ Riders were suspending operations for the 1975 season. Players under contract with the team could be loaned to other WTT teams, and the EZ Riders had the right to protect 4 players to return for the 1976 season. There were rumors that the EZ Riders were behind on their financial obligations. However, EZ Jones said, "We are 100% current with our league obligations and our players' salaries and have even made salary advances in order to return to WTT in 1976. The EZ Riders would need to meet certain league financial requirements and exercise an option by September 15, 1975. The suspension of operations was so sudden and unexpected that newspaper advertisements for EZ Riders home matches continued to run after the announcement. The EZ Riders did not exercise their option to return to the league in 1976, and the team folded on September 15, 1975. Player draft. Several high-profile public figures were selected in the 1974 WTT draft. These included comedians Johnny Carson and Bill Cosby. Stan Mallis, president of the United States Lawn Tennis Association, which objected to WTT. 11-year-old Tracy Austin. Dean Paul Martin, Jr. Two sports star John Lucas and Elton John. Perhaps the most noteworthy selection occurred when Freedom's player-coach Billie Jean King used the team's 7th-round pick to select Bobby Riggs, whom she had beaten 14 months earlier in the Battle of the Sexes. Stan Smith and Illy Nastase were chosen by the New York Jets. Ken Rosewall, Manuel Santana, Pancho Gonzalez, Andres Gimeno, Pierre Barths and Alex Metrivelli, Georgian, were selected by the Hartford Royals. Roy Emerson and Vijay Amritraj, Tamil, were chosen by the Los Angeles Strings. Olga Morozova was selected by the Houston EZ Riders. Clark Grabner and Ove Bengtsson were chosen by the Cleveland Nets. Joaquin Loyo Mayo was selected by the San Francisco Golden Gators. Jeff Borowiak was chosen by the Hawaii Lays. Julie Heldman was selected by the Chicago Aces. Jan Codes was chosen by the Baltimore Banners. Chris Evert was selected by the Florida Flamingos. The top overall selection was Colin Dibley, who was chosen by the original Boston Lobsters. The San Diego Friars did not make any selections, because the team had not yet been founded. Standings and attendance. Reference. Total attendance during the season was 503,858, for an average of 3,053 over 165 playing dates. Playoff bracket. Reference. Playoff match results. Reference. Home teams are in caps. Of the total of 9 playoff matches, home teams won 6 and lost 3. The higher seeds had 5 wins and 1 loss in their 6 home matches. The higher seeds won 4 of the 5 matchups. Individual statistical leaders. The table below shows the individual players in doubles teams who had the best winning percentages in each of the 5 events in WTT. Individual honors. Reference. All-Star Match. WTT held its inaugural All-Star Match on July 13, 1975, at the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena as a part of the evening session of a WTT Spectacular in front of 7,112 fans. The afternoon session drew a crowd of only 1159. The East defeated the West 28-21. See also 1975 WTA Tour, 1975 Men's Grand Prix Circuit, official WTT website.